$10 was
Oh, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks, hoes and tricks.
What the fuck?
Okay, go.
I mean, I'm fully aware, and I could disappear tomorrow off the internet, take all my videos down, and everything will be fine. I'm not arrogant enough to think I've had such an impact on people's lives. Men would still be doing what they're doing if Stardust disappeared tomorrow. Not planning on it tomorrow, I'm just saying. I'm nobody. And in some sense, everyone is nobody in terms of MGTOW because, we're just doing our own thing. Some of us make videos, some of us have views on different subjects and different perspectives and opinions. And sometimes I voice them. But ultimately, I'm irrelevant. Every MGTOW content producer is largely irrelevant in as much as men would continue just doing their own thing. None of those things has any effect on your ability to eat your Cheetos and watch reruns of Archie Bunker. Some of you are probably too young to even know who Archie Bunker is, but neither here nor there.
Nowadays, the government is pressuring companies into hiring more women in executive positions.
I know it's a crime against nature. Women was created for two things, making meals and babies.
Oh, boy, there you go again with the 19th century thinking of yours.
Well, it's true. Look at your cave women. Why do you think your cave women was created with short legs and fat butts?
I don't know, Arch, but I'm sure you got a good answer.
So they couldn't run fast, so the men could catch them and force them to make the meals and the babies.
Well, weren't there any cave women with long legs and skinny butts that could run faster than the men?
Well, them the men would have to bring down with a rock.
Now I'm starting to catch on. And what about the cavemen with short legs and fat butts that couldn't catch any women?
Well, they was probably your first fags.
This is not something to be concerned over because I saw people worried about this and making comments, and it's just not particularly relevant. It doesn't really matter because Vention's tomatoes aren't going to be affected. At the end of the day, that's what matters. Vention's tomatoes, symbolically speaking. His tomatoes could be your Cheetos or your hooker or whatever. So the message of this video is MGTOW is beyond all of this. MGTOW is beyond content producers. I'm irrelevant. Everyone else is irrelevant. Media is irrelevant. It's just about doing your own thing. At the end of the day, that's what matters. Vention's tomatoes, symbolically speaking.
Alrighty. That finishes one. What I'm doing here... Oh, hey MGTOW, I'm going to create basically a wall of tomatoes all along my deck here.
At the end of the day, that's what matters. Vention's tomatoes, symbolically speaking.
But man, are these things sweet. It tastes, honestly, like there's honey inside the plum. I mean, it is
ridiculously.
Stay tuned for a very important announcement regarding food poisoning. Apples, tomatoes. The apples, tomatoes. The apples, tomatoes, 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 tomatoes.
At the end of the day, that's what matters.
Vention's tomatoes, symbolically speaking.
There are no men out there.
Attractive woman. Just my type. But she sure looks like a... Well, I don't need that.
Etiquette or netiquette dictates that we do not type in all capital letters.
Fuck
you? You're ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
Delivery for Trish and Deb.
Oh, who are they from? Who are they from? Let's take a look. The card says, thanks, M. M?
M.
M.
M. M?
Well, howdy, y'all. Yours truly.
If you ever dealt with pretty chicks, then you know how when you're dealing with the arrogant pretty chick or the conceited pretty chick, how that can be. They can be like the demoralizers. They always let you know how pretty they are and the advantages that's allotted to them because of their beauty or, you know, their superficial outside. Because most of the time I find that, you know what I'm saying, the real pretty chicks, they be like degenerates on some real shit on one level. Then on another level, they be some hoes. But that's a whole nother video. Because of how pretty she is. She talks to him sideways. He has a problem with it, you know, but he won't diss her because she's fine. She's so fine. Anyway, he has sex with her, whatever, and then she tells him,
yo, nah, you don't call me when you want to hook up. I call you.
I call you when I'm horny and all of that because
she fine. She's so fine. And he put up with it. Wait, hold up, what? This chick tell you her dick in the glass and you go for it because she fine. She's so fine. Well, anyway, the man's into this chick and he's like really captivated by her, you know what I'm saying, her physical, you know, beauty or whatever. Like the chick is bad. Let's just keep it like that. You know what I'm saying? The chick is a really, really, really pretty chick or whatever. And he lets her know, obviously, you know what I'm saying, by talking to her and his behavior and the way he puts up with her because she's constantly putting him down, talking to him sideways, being super disrespectful and just, you know what I'm saying, the typical pretty girl shit because, you know, she has options. And most of the time when you have pretty chicks like that, they know, you know, their worth or their value or how much people up on them. And then on add to this, she's only like 22 or 23. Time after time, she tell him like stuff like that.
Nah, don't be calling me when you want to hook up. I call you when I want to hook up. Nah, you ain't all of that. I'm all of that. Nah, you don't have options. I got options.
And he stay there putting up with it because she fine. She's so fine. Anyway, Cap hollering at him like, yo, man, dude, whether she fine or not, dude, where your self-dignity at? Where your self-respect at? Is she so damn fine that you gonna let her shit on you like that, talk to you? Yo, you better than me. Hey, if you feel that way, hey, man, go ahead, knock it down, do what you do. Hey, I couldn't do it, but whatever. So my man like, yeah, you know what? I ain't gonna let her talk to me like that, whether she fine. She's so fine or not, you know? And so my man goes through the typical stupid man syndrome, hits the broad up, get up with the chick, go to meet her, whatever, hook up with her, all that. You know, she call him when she ready. Nah, he call it, man, you know, I miss you, I want to get up with you, whatever. Okay, cool. He comes through, whatever, he gets through there, whatever. She tells him like, yo, I knew you wasn't gonna stay away. You couldn't stay away from this, because she fine. She's so fine. Now, I don't know about you, but me, in that same situation, when the motherfucker let me know that they was everything and I wasn't nothing, it was like, word, watch my back, broad, deuces, and I was out. But again, I'm cut from a different cloth. My man was so eager and desperate and thirsty for the box. Not only did he take that insult, he banged her again and is on a continual path of banging this broad, even though she's letting him know he has no worth to her because she fine. She's so fine. A lot of us are not being real with ourselves, so we're not even ready for relationships, but we out here looking for these chicks to overlook all these different things for us and accept us as we are, and we're willing to take everything for what? The sake of having some regular pussy? The sake of having somebody there even though they treat you like shit? What I'm saying is, I think dudes, if that's what you're doing to hold on to a chick or whatever, you really need to reassess yourself as a man. But maybe it's just me. In a minute.
We're looking at a whole raft of very calculated and well-rehearsed tactics. And this is about control. And women, I mean, they're either empowered and superior to men, or they're victims of men, depending when it suits them. But the real question is, I mean, why extend chivalry or respect to a woman if she resents you? or is indifferent to you and to your needs and your suffering. So, just as women need to see life through men's eyes, men need to see a woman's perspective and then act accordingly. See, men, they project their own values and worldview onto women. Now, even men that have been abused by the system at the hands of women, now, they're stuck in a perpetual cycle. You're flitting between denial and bargaining. If only I could just find the right woman. Oh, no, not all women are like that. Perhaps Russian women or South American women are better. But no one, whether they're male or female, can offer Norwald as an excuse until female psychology and behaviour have been examined critically and objectively without fear of recrimination and censorship. And there are just far too many examples of females abusing men and children, either directly or via the system. And any man, especially those in the manosphere, who state that we shouldn't be critical of female behaviour on the whole, or that we should restrict our analysis of female behaviour to feminists only, that man's motivations should be questioned. I mean, Frederick Douglass, he stated that to make a contented slave, you have to make a thoughtless one. You corrupt his morality and his mindset to take away his reasoning.
It is bringing entertainment to thousands of people. Through its magic, we are able to enjoy a combination of the radio, motion pictures, and the stage, right in the comfort of our own homes, simply by pushing a button and turning a dial. These cells with their electrical charges are scanned by a stream of electrons, completing 30 pictures a second. Compare that crude picture with these of today, and you can judge for yourself how far along the road to perfection television has traveled.
Most people still today think that all entertainment to do with movies, drama, is therefore nothing more than their entertainment. It never ever was that case.
Of course, television can't perform such miracles as this, yet. But perhaps there's no harm wishing that it could.
The greatest social messages are promoted through movies and drama, high drama, through the fixation of emotive sequences, emotional sequences, not logical, factual sequences, but pushing points across in an emotional way which register and fix in the mind. So emotional content is very, very important, rather than going through an actual discussion or an argument using logic and facts. There's no debate. And when you're being downloaded through fiction, your guard is down, the censor part of your brain is not in action. It isn't saying, yes, I agree with this, I disagree with that, as you would in a debate or a lecture. You're actually in an alpha state, being completely downloaded with new ideas. I wrote about the kind of culture and the changes of culture over a 100-year period that they would actually design, implement, and bring in. And H.G. Wells talked about it too. He talked about arenas. He says arenas could be put up across the world for sports, for instance. Now at that time, sports was something that children, school children were into. Adults became adults and got onto adult things. So it was unimaginable at the time that people could actually believe that there was even a need for adult sports and entertainment, never mind having arenas built across the world. But he said we can do this and foist basically a sports culture for the males. Using a tribal system, we're all tribal to an extent. That's why we even bother to vote for a tribal leader. This is well understood. That's why we're supplied with these leaders. And because the average man was to become more disengaged from his own destiny as the expert class arose, it was decided that the males would get their outlet, basically.
Being gradually becoming helpless as males through sports, therefore they'd have a tribal team they could identify with.
They could cheer them on as they were winning in their own personal lives. they were getting nowhere. They were getting disenfranchised, in a sense, as experts took over decision-making for them in all kinds of fields. So this was psychology at use, planned before they even implemented the sports. When radio came along, of course, they used that to the maximum. Sports for the men, soaps basically for the women, and then in came television, as I say, with its alpha state, its hypnotic state. And sure enough, around the 1960s, really, 50s and 60s, it took off. It really, really took off. And men became glued on Saturday nights to the sports shows. A culture industry, which is called by its own the culture industry. The Soviet Union had a department called the culture industry. Their actors and directors were called the cultural leaders. Leaders. Because they would, like a computer, people are like computers, all you have to do is keep giving them new updates every so often, and you can change an entire country or a nation or a block of nations who are all getting the same upgrades at the same time along certain paths. Today we call it political correctness. Most people want to belong to their peer group. They want to be the same as everyone else when it comes to opinions. In fact, they judge their own personal sanity by bouncing ideas off their neighbours and friends who will answer back and agree on these same topics in kind. It doesn't matter if the topics or what you're given are facts or utter nonsense, as long as everyone agrees at the same time. You'll say, well, I'm sane, and your friends will all agree because they've had the same information given to them.
But they've been programmed, and I'm sad because I know that it's hard for people like that to take an interest, a serious interest in world affairs, to take a serious interest in what their elected officials are doing. And they're not going to be really inclined to study or discover the deception that's being used against them. And so I'm sad because I see all of that in a flash in my mind as being an indication of how easy it is for the masses to be manipulated.
To be true. He doesn't have to show you facts or anything else. You've been brought up with these faces. That's why they keep these guys on television into their 70s and 80s. You've grown up with this father figure who's on television every night at 6 o'clock, in your house, in your room, staring right at you, and he's a father figure. Would he tell you a lie? So you naturally never suspect him. And this same man will lead you through new topics. He'll introduce experts on the topics. They'll have a little summary at the end of every talk, and you are now left with the conclusion that's presented to you. You don't arrive at it, it's given to you, and it's good enough for you. Eventually, they'll be unable to think or reason for themselves. And eventually, he said, they will expect the media to do all their thinking and reasoning for them. Well, that's happened today. That's why people today can't think outside of the programming from television.
It's hard to enjoy media, movies, music. You have to think critically. They use emotion to sway logic and make concepts stick that normally wouldn't. It's all PR and propaganda. Indoctrination to ideas.
I didn't like school either. I thought of it more of a mind prison than a place to learn about life. I didn't really feel at home amongst people either. People had no respect. The rich took advantage of the poor. The lies kept them locked away in their miserable lives.
When you really start seeing through the bullshit and agendas and what the fuck what's being pushed ultimately.
All of a sudden, everything changed.
As far as entertainment goes, it's just some advice. Just always watch critically. And think outside of the Borg hive, always. Not that you have a choice.
they caught me. I tried to explain why I had to do this, but they just wouldn't listen. They had locked me away for good.
So here's what I'm seeing coming down the road. The government needs men to take care of women, either directly through marriage or indirectly through taxation. As I explained in my video, The Matrix of Tribal Identity, women are the primary resource of society. A society requires women to be provided for in order to breed. Men are the disposable resource to be used to facilitate this. In the past, men at least got the illusion of authority and some occasional sex out of the arrangement, but after decades of misandric laws like no-fault divorce and lifetime alimony, men are saying no to marriage. But I probably don't need to tell any of you about that. The government isn't going to reform these laws because women are 51% of the voting population, and that's how politics works. However, the government needs men to take care of these women, either voluntarily or involuntarily. If men won't sacrifice themselves upon the altar of marriage, the government will raise taxes on them in order to get the resources that way. Now, the conventional wisdom is for single men to downsize their lives. Obviously, men don't need that much money to live on their own, and as I explained in my previous Monkeynomics 101 video regarding the cost of marriage, divorce, and MGTOW, a single man can live on about $15,648 a year, which equals $21,500 gross, minus 27% total taxes, which includes a 15% federal tax, a 5% state and local tax, and a 7% FICA tax. Paying $5,805 in taxes total will still net you $15,695. Now, if you have money or plan to have money, this may not be the most appealing option. Maybe you want to live in a place that doesn't have metal bars on the doors and windows, and you want to live in a neighborhood where you can walk down the street at night without getting shot. If that's your plan, I have an alternative solution for you to consider. What if, and hear me out, what if you claim to be a transgendered lesbian? So what this means is you say you're a woman living in a man's body that's also a lesbian. I don't know how the government can disprove it, and they can't judge you by how you dress or who you have sex with since you're a lesbian. I think it's a pretty airtight case.
Dang it, Dale.
That's genius.
It's just dumb. And people only watch her streams because she has her tits out.
You shut the fuck up and let me talk for a second.
Okay, sorry.
You come on my stream. My stream. You come on. While I'm on the phone, shut the fuck up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was a question.
No, it's not a fucking question. I come in and I bring a new perspective. I bring a new initiative.
No, the only thing she's bringing in is cleavage. That is literally all she's bringing. Whereas she just does it for money and to show off what she has.
So, if you guys don't already know, on Twitch TV, which is the place that I live stream, there is this new ROS paragraph about like how you have to dress appropriately, and appropriately meaning no sexually explicit clothing, i.e. lingerie, bikinis, completely nude on top, and this applies to men as well. So men can't have like their abs and their, you know, pecs showing and stuff like that. And I feel like this is just obvious. Like, you can't be dressed in anything that you wouldn't wear in a supermarket. And I wear this in a supermarket.
And that's because you're a slut. You're watching her chest. That's all. That is literally the main focus for every single person in her chat. Sort of like this one.
Thank you so much, Trombone. I totally appreciate it. Thank you for being super awesome and supporting me. That's my heart beating. I can be active this time because I'm not about to die. Wow, thank you so much, Solo. You're great.
There's literally nothing I can even say to that. Like, who finds that attractive? Twin sisters, but not identical, to get subscribers and viewers and donations.
Beautiful girls, thank you so much. I actually just got Borderlands, but I've only streamed it once for like 15 minutes and then it didn't work, so I don't know if we're going to still try and attempt to stream that. You want me to kiss the cam? Guys, when we get to 300 viewers, we're doing a double hair flip, and maybe if we get to 500 viewers, we'll both kiss the camera. 500 viewer hype!
Now, I don't understand how people can't see that those two, well, the main streamer girl, is only there for the money and the donations. It's quite clear. Why anyone would do this live when they're meant to be playing games? No.
Make the cam bigger. Okay, one more, and that's it. Where is my mouse?
Make it nasty, make it nasty. Pop it on the bitch, make it nasty. Yeah. Lights out like Roy Jones Jr., T-Rod the ruler, slicker than a gold.
This picture is the only thing that can sum those videos up. But no, seriously, this sort of thing needs to stop. These girls aren't gamers, they aren't here to entertain you with their personalities or gaming skill. They just want to sit there, show off their bodies and make some easy money. And the sooner people realize that, the sooner we can get rid of them completely.
Give me kisses. Hey.
Guys, what do I do?
Oh, damn! You gotta go in? Hell no. Yes, you do.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger for those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers, and you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. I have returned.
What's up, Mafia? I'm the Dark Loner, aka Whispered, formerly known as Fist of the North Star.
Resurrected one more time.
So, oh, you know what? I got Phil G, the Nobody's new album. In his music, there's so many different topics that he touches on within one song, and it's just real, like, thought-provoking. It's very red pill music, man. I mean, not just red pill in regards to like feminism and MGTOW and gender relations, but just things in general. You know, it's real good, so I would highly suggest that you guys check it out. I mean, just like Messenger Rising said.
Phil G, the Nobody, still deserves a lot more subscribers than he's got and a lot more views. He makes the best MGTOW content out there.
This guy deserves a shitload more of views and subscriptions because the content on his channel is just amazing. I mean, when I watch his stuff, I'm just like, I can't believe this guy does what he does. I don't know how to describe it. Like his ability to take clips and put them together and it's so seamless. Pretty freaking intelligent, man. Wow, incredible. That's incredible. Anyway,
So you get these males, these beta males with low sexual dimorphism, kind of fat and curvy, a little on the wimpy side. We don't like masculinity, it's toxic. But of course, the next external threat that pops up, then we'll be looking for all the masculine males. But of course, they'll all have Asperger's and autism and be taking Ritalin. And, you know, they're male feminists on YouTube. So, I don't know if I could advise a young man to get married. I think it's nuts. I mean, just because you like peanut butter jelly sandwiches, is that all you want to eat when you're hanging around a buffet for the rest of your life? Say you have a book that you really like. How many times can you read that book over and over and over and over, and then suddenly the book doesn't want you to read it anymore? The sex always goes down, 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 till it stops. That doesn't sound appealing, especially if you're a young man. So, it's the 21st century. I think I'm gonna try. I know I'm gonna sound like an asswipe and everything. I'll be the negative Nancy. Maybe I'll do it by a private phone call. But I'm gonna try and tell my nephew. And then he can disregard my advice. Does it sound like a bad observation? Can you think of any circumstances where a male benefited from being married? Can you think of some of the good things? I guess it's female companionship for that, to meet that male mother need, and getting laid, I guess. I'm not so sure that's as important to me as I get older on a regular basis, like I'm demanding or something. I don't think so. I don't know. Is it still wise to get married?
You're listening to the Rocket Radio Show.
At the end of the day, that's what matters. Vention's tomatoes, symbolically speaking.
Vention's tomatoes, symbolically speaking.